Hello, I am back with a new video and I am in desperate need of this video, hence why I am doing it. Now oh man, I have to go get that. One second. Okay, I think I have all the pieces to my video, and I apologize if I have to cut midway, just because I am currently like cleaning and organizing, so my desk is a mess, my workspace is a mess, but I really desperately needed this video. But nonetheless, this video is so extremely important for me to do because here is the dilemma. For my 2026 lineup, I don't have a lineup. I don't have a planner lineup actually. What I wanted to do was I wanted to make my 2026 all-in-one setup in my traveler's notebook. And what I realized is, like, when I was looking to set up sort of some of the spreads, because I will be doing bullet journaling, so I have inserts that I want to sort of sketch all the layouts and stuff like that. I realized that it's quite a daunting task and I have to figure out the nitty-gritty before I actually go and attempt this. Now, if you've seen my previous video on my Frankenstein Hobonichi, which I will put, editor me, please put like an image of the video and the link in the description below, please. But for the first month of January, I basically took out the loose papers or some of the spreads that I didn't use in my Hobonichi and I put them together to make the first month of January, just because January is going to be super hectic. So even though I have a bit of time to figure things out, I still need to figure things out, and it's kind of been weighing on my mind. And because December for me is the declutter month, what I do at the end of each year is I actually will go and I will clean out certain areas of my space, around the house, whatever it may be. And that is what I'm doing for July. So I did set up a month with a few of my decluttering goals. These notebooks over here are notebooks that I need to declutter. I have a pile of sketchbooks and notebooks on the floor that I have to either take a video of, take pictures of, or copy some of those notes. And so I have a lot of things going on for December and it's a bit of a mess, and I have a little bit of free time to film this video and also figure 2026 out a little bit. But nonetheless, I'm gonna go ahead and sort of give you the format of this video. But nonetheless, there are three main parts to this video. The first is reviewing my 2025 lineup. And the reason why I'm doing another review of this, and of course, editor me, please link in the description my previous 2025 planner review as well as a picture of the thumbnail, please put it somewhere. But nonetheless, the reason why I'm re-reviewing my 2025 lineup is because things changed. There's a lot of different things that I've implemented into my system that I need to do again. I need to revisit because they worked for me, and I definitely want to bring them into my 2026 setup. So that is the first part. The second part is I actually have to sit down and analyze how I plan. I feel like every year I watch planner videos and I get inspired. And when I say inspired, I mean influenced. And when I mean influenced, I mean I go and purchase the product that I saw on the internet that I thought would work for me, without really sitting down and addressing a few of the habits that I've developed over the years. This year is quite the same, actually. This year, of course, what I do is sometimes when I work, I will put a planner video in the background just because it feels like therapy to me. Honestly, they're very calming. It doesn't hurt my head as much as music. And because I watch those planner videos, I'm like, oh my God, that Hobonichi Weeks looks so nice. I should get it. Oh, I saw the sterling ink. Oh, I saw this. And I really love just the amount of different layouts and different planners and covers out there. I love them all. And I really also I want to try them all. And that's not feasible. It's just not gonna work for me. I know myself after doing my 2025 sort of planner thingy. Like, I know that in the long run, those things don't work for me. So hence why I want to sift through and really find out what the things that worked for me is. And I also need to sit down and I need to actually figure out like what my planning system is, because I know I have one and I know what works for me. So I need to like sit down and catalog it and use that as a template for my 2026. And the last part of my video will be what I will actually be getting for my 2026. My 2026 lineup, or how I plan on doing my 2026 lineup. And now that I'm talking about it, I definitely think that it's a separate video. We will get to the logistics later. Now let us do the nitty and gritty. So the first thing that I did, this is actually my brain dump notebook, which is part of my lineup for 2025. I actually added this in maybe September. No, I added this in October. Yes, the first month of October, I actually pulled this out because I so desperately needed a brain dump notebook. This is the Oasis notebook. It is a Japanese notebook. It is made in Japan and it works very well with fountain pens. I don't think this notebook is for everyone just because the lines are humongous. So as you can see, it's really designed for people with bigger handwriting in my opinion. But I actually really love this notebook. I used it, like I'm actually almost done with it. I think I'll be using this, I'll probably finish this by the end of the year. And it just shows you how much I needed this notebook. But nonetheless, I do have a spread in here. Here it is. That what I'll be doing as I go through my 2025 planners and notebooks and stuff like that, I am going to write down what my wish list is. It is not tied to 2026. This is just things that I want to try in the future if opportunity comes. I'm also going to write down what worked for me in 2025. I either can just transfer it over to 2026, or I can tweak them first and then transfer them over to 2026. And I also need to write a place what didn't work for me. And I think I'll just put it here. Worked and not. I'll just do that. I might need to do a couple more pages for this, but this is a good start. So starting my first notebook, what really worked for me was a brain dump notebook. I need a brain dump notebook 100%. And it's definitely something that I'm going to do in 2026. Like, it is a non-negotiable. For me, a basic plain insert that's gridded is perfect for me for a brain dump notebook. For me, a brain dump notebook is, let me go ahead and pull out, actually, since we're on the topic, my commonplace. For me, the difference between a brain dump notebook or a conscious notebook or whatever you want to call it and a commonplace notebook is that this is internal information. Brain dump is all the things that are in my head that I want to get on paper. And a commonplace, it's everybody else's thoughts. It's everybody else's ideas that I am cataloging because I think it's useful for me, or I think I can use the information to problem solve for me. While brain dump, again, it's internal information, but it's also me attempting to problem solve. I do feel like a brain dump notebook is a problem solving notebook for me. And it's like, I have to have it. I need it in my life. So that's the first thing. And to be honest, what I have in my brain dump is literally everything under the sun. I have, like, for instance, this is a workout plan. I have Hobonichi colors. I'm gonna put this in the recycling bin. I don't think I need that. So I have a workout log here. I have weekly focuses in here. I have pages called brain dump. I have a page called my social media problem. That's pretty important. So, you know, it's basically anything under the sun. It's any of my observations about myself and just how life is going for me and all those fun things. So that's definitely something that I need to have. Since we're on the topic, the next is my commonplace. I will actually be just doing the same thing. Since this Kimboard is not filled all the way, I'm just gonna, you know, drag it into 2026. So for a commonplace, I don't need any inserts. I don't need any sort of additional notebooks. I'm just gonna keep going with this. I love this Kimbour. It is so cute. It accepts fountain pen ink so well. And what's really nice is because it's divided into 12 months, for me it's like 12 chapters. So sometimes what I'll do is like, I have book notes in here. For me, book notes I feel like is commonplace. And you could like, what you call it, like do it as a separate category, because I do book notes like crazy. But I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna group all of those things in one place. So let me see if I have a chapter. I think I wrote it down. I think it's chapter 2 actually. No, it's not. Is it chapter 3? Yes, so this is a book note section. So this entire like month of March is dedicated to one book that I am going, and I'm actually putting notes that are important to me, so that at the beginning of the year, like for instance, this one is about productivity. Because I do a lot of that. But this is about productivity. And I finished the book and I highlighted and I marked things in that book that I'm going to copy into here. And all of my books are in my iPad just because I can take my iPad anywhere. Some of the books that I read are like 800 pages, and I'm not really interested in carrying around an 800-page book to the cafe or anything. I'd rather just take my iPad. So that's why I do commonplace, because a lot of the things that I read are digital. Another thing that I do is like, let's say I'm at the gym and I'm reading or I'm listening to a podcast, I will copy down notes in like a little scrapbook, and then I will go and I will copy them into my commonplace. So that's really important. The commonplace is kind of dealt with. I really love this. The A5 size, I think in the future, after I finish this, I'm going to get an A6 size just because it's a little bit more portable. But I really love this. Maybe I'll have both. I don't know. Again, let me go ahead and write down maybe A6 commonplace. Kimbour or Hobonichi style. Or Hobonichi. Cousin or Avec. Cousin or Techo. That's really important. So I wrote that in my wish list to try in the future after I finish this. I love this. I love this. I love this. I do think the binding is, I do have to put like some super glue or something to keep the binding in place. But I love this Kimbour. I think one thing is because it's so affordable, and two, it doesn't have a lot of the things. It kind of like the things that Hobonichi did wrong. Well, I wouldn't say do wrong, but like some of the features that could be a little tedious to somebody who has a Hobonichi cousin, which is like the really small timeline. I really hate how small the timeline is in the Hobonichi cousin, as well as the quotes. Those things are gone in the Kimbour, which is a little refreshing in my opinion. So this is a really nice, if I ever need like a Hobonichi Techo, because this doesn't have weeklies, then I'm definitely going to purchase a Kimbour if I really, really need it. But nonetheless, that is one of the things that I had in my 2025 lineup that was successful. So now that I know that, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put this back on my shelf. There we go. Ooh, my shelf is in desperate need of a revamp. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm gonna pull out are my Hobonichi Show A6 size in the Avec style. So we have part 1, part 2. So let me go ahead and address what these were supposed to be. These were supposed to be a health planner and a memory keeper in the same notebook. And what I realized is that I am somebody who can't do that. I cannot put 2 different categories in the same notebook. And let me go ahead and write that down. I am not a multi-category notebook person. Okay, just want to put that out there. I'm just not. It's not, I'm not that person. And that's what I really, really struggled with when it comes to these notebooks. I shouldn't have done that, but I did. I figured it out. Doesn't work for me. This was supposed to be a daily memory keeper. Am I a daily memory keeper person? Yes, I am. I do 100% need a daily journal. It is a non-negotiable for me. What I realized is that a lot of the people that I've seen on the internet, what they complain about is that they write in their memory keeper, or they write in their memories mundane things. Like, for instance, what's a good one for me? I had tacos today. That's like, in 10 years time, you're not going to care if you had tacos that day. But what I realized about myself is that the act of writing, even if it's mundane or stupid or like a waste of space, whatever you might think a mundane entry would be, for me, I realized it relaxes my mind. Even if I'm writing gibberish, it is relaxing to me. It helps me unwind, it helps me de-stress. So even though these kind of entries might be literally the dumbest thing ever, like eating a taco, I'm sorry, that is dumb. Okay, it's just dumb. I need it. I like the idea of having a space to just bleh. It's just a good, a good idea of, turning off your phone, turning off your laptop, turning off your TV, have a candle, have a cup of coffee, sit down and just write about your day. The things that you're thankful for. That's like a big thing for me. Like, writing these mundane things just shows me how blessed I am to have food on the table, to have clothing, to have a house to sleep in. I watch the news, I watch global news, and I see some of the most horrendous things, especially with Sudan, especially with Palestine, with Kashmir. These places are in such dire straits that me writing down that I had food to eat to that day has just been like, I'm very thankful for what I have. And so for me, writing these mundane things down has been so important for me. And I really do want to have those entries where I write down the things that I'm thankful for, no matter how mundane they are. That is why I have to have a daily journal. Another thing I realized is that, one, it doesn't really have to be dated. This also can be a plain insert. I will just write down the date, stamp the date. I do have to buy stamps. Just stamp the date. And the entry could be as small or as big as I want it to be. Hence why I think a plain insert that's maybe like lined or grid would be a really good option just to have daily entries. So let's go ahead and flip through. I think I'm gonna go ahead and flip through the first. I think I'm gonna flip through the first page. The first pages were period trackers. I don't like this in a journal. I don't like this. This should have been in a health planner. So I'm gonna also write down that I need a health planner. Yeah, I need some sort of health notebook or health planner. Let me put health notebook / planner. It needs to be its own separate category. So I know that is something that I need. And I want anything that has to do with my body, I want that in that notebook. As you can see, I even fell off for the last 3 months because I was just not convinced that this is the best way to do it. And it kind of showed. And I do think that for 2026, I definitely need a new health planner because I'm aging. So that's the first thing that I've noticed. Another thing, so let me go ahead into this. And this is actually the biggest thing, is that I actually was using this tracker sheet as well as a health. Like it was like it had a mixture of things, again, hence why, as you can see, I fell off later because it just didn't work. So I think that, again, separate categories is necessary. And I do think that I might need a separate tracker notebook. One of the things is that, these are at the front of the notebook, but the reality, some of these things I do at the end of the day, while memory keeping I'll do at the beginning of the day. So because I'm doing this at different times, it was really kind of tedious to sort of like open the notebook, close the notebook, open the notebook, close the notebook. So that's why a separate tracker notebook where I just it's separate. Again, I'm a separate category person. I can just pull that out, update it once at the end of the day, and then call it a day with that. I think that would be more successful. I actually used it as an index for my journal prompts inside this Hobonichi Techo, and that was very, very successful. So I'm gonna write down that worked for me. using the index as an index. So if I were to do this in the future, I definitely think that the calendar index for the Hobonichis really work as good indexes. So I'm going to do calendar index Hobonichi. That worked for me as an index. Perfect. Now let us go to the next page. And this one, this is like, there's nothing here, right? Yeah, there's nothing for these, unfortunately. A screen time tracker worked excellent for me. And that is something that is going to go into the tracker notebook. A screen time tracker for my devices, for instance, my phone and iPad. Phenomenal. It really, like, it's just so eye-opening on how many hours I'm spending on these devices. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm using them for work, sometimes I'm not. But like the fact there's a place where I can put this and I can see what's going on and where I'm spending hours of my day is very beneficial for me, and I refuse to get rid of this. I refuse. So this is going to stay. I'm going to find a place for it. Very successful. Moving on to my monthlies in these. Yeah, this is definitely going to be like a 2-part video. This might be like a 3-part video at this point. Next are my monthlies. In my opinion, both of these spreads are extremely successful. So this is the first half of the year. And what I did was, again, I was using this for health. So all of my daily pages were for memory keeping. All of my monthly pages were for health. I love this. It's just I hate it with my memory keeping. So this is definitely, so the monthly health spread in the A6 Hobonichi works. It needs to go in my health journal. So I'm going to do a monthly spread under this, monthly spreads. There we go. So what I did was I used this for weight. I tracked sugar intake, carbs, water, workouts. This was so successful for me. I love this. I love looking at it. I love tracking exercise I did, what my weight was. Like on the bottom, I have like weights and stuff like that. I love this. I love, love, love this. But again, once I was like getting into it, I was like, why the hell is my memory keeper with my health stuff? Like, why did I do that? But I think if this was in a separate notebook, this would be fire. And so I'm going to definitely have a separate health insert in my 2026 Traveler's Notebook. That is just gonna it's gonna help me with that. Another thing that I have in here that I'm going to use in my main planner that really worked for me was my wins calendar. I'm gonna call it that. Wins calendar in my A6 Hobonichi. Now what I did at the end of the month, if you've seen my previous like monthly resets with me, you'll know exactly what this is. If you don't, I'll try to do a quick synopsis. But now in my Hobonichi A5 size, it's my main planner. And what I do is I write down my to-do list. And what I do at the end of each month is I will go through every single daily page and I'll write down what my wins are. And I will do like one word for what the win was in this calendar. I will tally up the amount of wins that I had that day, and I will put it in this little section here. And I can see how productive I was. The highlighted boxes are boxes where I didn't have any wins that day. And once I do that, I can calculate with the ratios how successful I was in percentages. So as you can see, I missed 6 days this month. Then the next month, I missed 5 days. So I was productive one more day. In the next month, I was maybe 4 days I was unproductive. And then in October, it shot down to 3 days that I was not productive. And as you can see, with every month, I can see if I am getting better at my wins, at my goals, etc. And this has been so helpful for me to figure out, because unfortunately, sometimes I'm a negative person to myself, like where I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I'm doing enough. I'm not as successful as I should be. I should be doing this and that and all those fun things. But having a spread where I can check reality instead of like my perception of things has been extremely helpful for me. And so having a wins calendar in my main planner is definitely going is going to work. So I'm going to put main planner is something that I need for my 2026. Have to put a wins calendar in that bullet journal that I'm going to be making my main planner. So wins calendar, bullet journal, which is also just going to be a grid insert. I really like grid inserts if you haven't noticed. Okay, perfect. So this is fantastic. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. I love this. Another thing that I really, really love about this is the actual size. I think A6 size is so adorable. Like, if I could eventually make an A6 size my main planner in the future, it's definitely something that I want to consider. And what planner that I really saw online that some other people are using is the Hobino. It's the Hobino A6. It's like 1 day on 2 spreads. I think it's a Midori product. That is definitely like, because I use this A6 size and I really, really love this size, absolutely adore it. It's definitely something that I want to consider in the future. But nonetheless, that's my 2 cents on that. Next thing is actually the memory keeping itself. This was very successful. I really like this. No changes here. Perfect. Another thing that I do want to implement is journal prompts. Because what happened with this particular notebook is that I actually put this on my shelf and I forgot about it because I was busy. And so what happened was I had a lot of backlogging to do. Because I had a lot of backlogging to do, I didn't want to do the backlogging. I was like, I'd rather not. I'm not interested in sitting here and backlogging. So I was like, you know what? Let me find a different purpose that has the same sort of vibe as memory keeping, and that was journal prompts. And I hated the journal prompts that I found online. So what I started doing was making my own journal prompts. I think this is actually a really important exercise to me. Let me find the page that I did it. Here it is, journal prompts. The journal prompts that I found online, I absolutely hated. I didn't like any of them. I felt like none of them spoke to me. So I do have a blog, and I did make, after I film this video, I will be making a blog post that has journal prompts that I used throughout the year. So let me actually write that on do I have a sticky note that I can borrow here? I'm just gonna use a sticky note. So let me write that down. Blog post about journal prompts. So I will be making that blog post and I will be linking it in the description below. It will be my main blog post just for journal prompts. So periodically I'll just update that particular post instead of making multiple posts. It will work as an archive for me to just pull certain prompts that I want to go over. But also, I'm also putting it out there so that if you're interested in, some journal prompts that could be mental exercises or therapy exercises for you, then it will be available to you whenever you want. So for me, this is so nice. I feel like I actually don't have a therapist. I don't want a therapist or anything like that, but I still want to do therapy exercises. I still want to spend time with myself and evaluating my mentality, my anxieties, my insecurities, and I want to face them. I want to face them head on, and I want to improve them, or either that or just get rid of them entirely. And I feel like writing and journaling is a great way to do self-therapy, if I say so. So I'm definitely going to implement this into my 2026 lineup. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put journal prompts. I don't know where I'm going to put it. This is kind of like a question mark for me, but this is definitely something that I want to implement. Nonetheless, that is my Hobonichi Techo A6 size, and I am so glad I bought these. When I stopped using this for a little bit, I was kind of like, man, should I have not gotten them in the first place? But the things that I have discovered about myself while using these notebooks, oh my God, has been I'm so glad. I'm just so thankful that I had the opportunity to buy these planners, to use them, because they have been such a phenomenal tool for me to improve my mentality and to sort of improve my personality as well. Now, I have just checked my recording time for this video, and I'm realizing that this video is getting quite long. So I will be doing like the 2025 review in one video. Maybe it's a part 2, part 1, part 2. I'm not sure yet. And then I will be doing a separate analysis video for my planning system. And then after that, I will do probably several videos on setting up my 2026 Traveler's Company, Traveler's Notebook, bullet journal system. The next insert that I have is a mock-up of an expenses insert. I 100% need somewhere to write down my expenses. I can't open this for obvious reasons. It is stocked full of personal information. Maybe like a little peek. That's like one of my spending charts. And then I have receipts in the back that I have to write down what I purchased and all those fun things. I have this digitally. I have Excel spreadsheets that I update every single month at the end of the month to see what I purchased and how much money I spent and where I spent it. I have that system in place, but I also need to see my expenses in real time. That is also not a negotiable for me. So I do have a digital space for this, but I do need, like, I 100% need this as well. And I have some ideas on how I can make this work in my traveler journal, just because there's so limited space. And right now, I'm just writing my wants and my needs. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put expenses. I'm not gonna put if it's gonna be an insert, if it's gonna be sheets, like I don't know yet. But I definitely need something for my expenses. And also like money planning, money management, etc. Because one of the books that I read when it comes to money management, it's not about how much money you have, it's knowing exactly what's happening to your money that differentiates people who are financially stable and who are not. So for me, this is not negotiable. And I'm just gonna put a question mark here, just because I have some ideas, but I have nothing in stone. So that's something that I actually have to update this today. So I'll put this over here because I need it. But that's also a non-negotiable for me. We are moving. I'm gonna leave my Hobonichi cousins for last because they're the biggest part of this journey. One of the things that inspired me is also I want some sort of a home binder is what I wrote in the past. What I realized is things like grocery lists, expenses, house bills, house cleaning. I really do want some sort of system for that. But again, I have no idea if I want in like maybe an A5 binder, like maybe do I want maybe like a plotter or something like that, just because that seems like a really good idea. I'm not sure about this. So I'm just gonna put this like this here in my brain dump notebook and, you know, see what I can come up with next year for something like this. The next notebook that I have that I actually added like in October as well is this, Kokyo, is it Kokyo Campus? No, how do I say it? I think it's Kokyo, yeah. This Kokyo Campus notebook. This is actually extra sheets that I want to use, that I have to I'm sticking there. Now this, I also have to flip this over because this is kind of personal information. You can pause and read. I wouldn't appreciate it if you did that, but you can pause and read. But this is a Kokyo Campus in the B5 size. First of all, B5 is too big for me. But I purchased these because I felt like this would be a really good system. And then I forgot how much I hated rings. Here's my dilemma with rings. I find rings extremely tedious. The opening of clothing of rings is tedious. The fact that when I write, I actually, a lot of the times I rest my hand on the bind when I write. So this is in the way when I'm writing. And even though this is small, like it's still there. But that and the idea that I have to purchase or make inserts is kind of a little much. And the fact that there's only certain paper that you can put in here unless you get the campus hole punch, which I think I'm gonna have to do because I see the potential in this. And so in October, I actually started experimenting. with some of the loose papers that I had. And for instance, like this is November. This is actually like my sleep schedule. As you can see, I fell off. And I knew that I was going to do that because I know I'm starting to see like what I like and what I don't like in this. And I really want to use this for next year. I don't want this size. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write down A5 Koki Campus Spiral Binder. And what I really liked about this is what I can do is I can experiment with spreads in this. Now, as you know, inserts are little notebooks, basically. So if I write in this notebook and I end up really hating the spread that I made, I don't have to commit to this. I don't have to do it in this notebook. I can easily just take an A5 size, because this is kind of like, this is like an A5 size. So as you can see, it's like an A5 like slim. And what I could do is I could take a separate sheet of paper with the same grid size or whatever. I can experiment with the layout that I want. I can experiment with that for a little bit. And if it's something that works for me, I could put it in my bullet journal and I can make it a permanent part of my spread. And so that's what I really like about this. Another thing that I really like about this is that not everything I have is leather. I mean, one of the things that I really don't like is having a lot of the same thing of the same material. I do want a variety of material in my notebooks and in my planner lineups, because I feel like it's a little touch of like, you know, variety basically. So this is definitely something that I plan on purchasing for 2026 that I feel like would really help improve my planning, just because it's a really great place for experimentation. And if I hate the spread, guess what? I just take it out and throw it away. So even though binders are not my favorite, I know how much potential they have. I know how much you can experiment and how much you can personalize these. And I kind of do want to get back into binders for that particular reason. But nonetheless, I am definitely going to use this. I use this in 2025 from like October to November, and I'll be continuing to use this. I have a lot of pages that I want to go through, and I want to write down the things that worked for me and that didn't work for me. So I'm definitely keeping this, and I'm definitely want to pull something like this over into 2026. So that is something that I'm using now, actually. So I'm just gonna put this over to the side because I actually have to update a few things in this. Another thing, what I really like about the Traveler system is that I'm trying to find a notebook size that I can be consistent with and that I can build an archive and, you know, store these notebooks for a long period of time. I really would like that. There's a YouTuber that who does that online, and she's Japanese, and I have her video saved, so I'll put it in the description below if I found it, because I don't know if I saved it or not, but I know the name of the YouTuber. Nonetheless, I'll put that information below if I can find it. The next thing, last thing, is my main planner. I love this. I adore, I glued that. I adore this. I cannot live without it.